Hello, and welcome to A Course in Miracles. I'm Danny Spenlove, and I just wanted to really quick take some time uh, because there have been two things that have held me back from creating these videos. I have felt like this is something I was supposed to do for quite a while now, and there have been two main things that have held me back. The first is my appearance. I do know how to apply makeup and how to look dolled up and cute and presentable and camera ready. Um, but often I don't have time to both get myself fully ready and make a video. And so I finally decided that I was just going to make this video and I was not going to put on a stitch of makeup. And if you still resonate with what I have to share and with my message, even without me looking cute and camera ready, then I think we'll get along just fine. And there will be times when I do look cute and all made up, and there will be times when I look like this. And I hope that it doesn't detract from the message either way. And I hope that if you do find it detracting, that you not watch the video and you just listen to the audio. So, um, I don't think the message should be influenced by my appearance because my appearance doesn't matter. So I just decided to do this first video this way. That way it only improves from here, right? The other thing that has deterred me from making these videos is knowing that this is going out on the internet and I won't know exactly who's watching. I won't know who my audience is. And A Course in Miracles is something that I feel so strongly is has something for everyone. And everyone is so different. And I have friends and family that are devout Christian and are very faithful and loyal to the church that they belong to. I have other friends and family who have been disenchanted with organized religion. And some of them remain Christian in belief and just no longer feel like they need a church in order to practice that belief. And some have left Christianity altogether and are now on their own spiritual journey and are still very spiritual. Um, and I have other friends and family who are not Christian, who were not raised Christian, and who are part of other world denominations. I know so many people from all different walks of life that I care deeply about, that I respect, and that I find value in their experiences and their beliefs. And so when I share A Course in Miracles with a person, I adjust the language that I use so that they will find what they resonate with in the course. And so, knowing that I'm talking to a broad audience and will probably have a mix of all kinds of people and all kinds of backgrounds and all kinds of beliefs, I it has been hard for me because I want to be able to focus it for whoever it is that's listening. And having this broad of an audience makes it difficult for me to know how to present the information and the ideas in a way that everyone will connect with. And I have finally had to let go and just surrender that those who need to hear this information from me will hear what they need to hear and will not be turned off if I'm maybe speaking more to a different audience that those that the others will still hear what they need to hear. It says in this preface, although Christian in statement, the course deals with universal spiritual themes. It emphasizes that it is but one version of the universal curriculum. There are many others, this one differing from them only in form. They all lead to God in the end. And so I hope no matter what your background or your belief or where you currently are on your journey, whether you're, a devout member of a specific faith, whether Christian or otherwise, or if you have kind of renounced all organized religion and are doing your own thing, I hope you'll stay. I hope that you'll be a part of this conversation. Sorry. I hope you'll stay because your voice matters and there are common threads throughout all humanity. I really believe that. And even with our different faiths or different beliefs or different ways of practicing what we believe, I really believe there are common threads that run through all of us. And I have found some of those common threads in A Course in Miracles. So I hope that even if you're not Christian, and so any references to Christ, which it does reference Christ, and there are ways. I just I hope you'll stay. I hope you'll stay. Even if you don't resonate with Christianity, even if you have maybe trauma around the idea of God, because I know some people, the way they were raised, the idea of God is even a traumatic idea. And so um I just, if you feel inspired, I hope you stay. And if you don't, I trust that you will find one of these many other ways, that you'll find what you need. And I know that I'm not for everyone, and that's okay. And I release the need to convince everyone of these commonalities that we have, and I trust that you'll find unity with all the rest of us in whatever way that works for you. So, all right. So now that I've said that, we can start with the preface. Start reading. Thank you for bearing with me through that. This preface was written in 1977 in response to many requests for a brief introduction to A Course in Miracles. The first two parts, How It Came and What It Is, Helen Schucman wrote herself. The final part, titled What It Says, was written by the process of interdictation described in the preface. Oh, and just really quick, sorry. I hope this isn't backwards for you. This is the text that I have. A Course in Miracles has the preface, text, workbook for students, manual for teachers, clarification of terms, and supplements. And it's published and distributed by the Foundation for Inner Peace. So anyway, they're a nonprofit organization. You can also find the text online for free. If you go to ACIM, Course in Miracles, acim.org. They have all of this, all of the text. And I hope that you will follow along because there are things that it's helpful to read it, not just hear it. The preface isn't too bad. It makes sense, without you having to read it. But there are places where certain words are capitalized that adds a little extra insight into things when things are capitalized or lowercased. Like in some places, there's the word self. Some places self is lowercase and some places self is uppercase. And so it just kind of gives you some insight into there are different aspects of yourself. Some are higher aspects and some are lower aspects. So anyway, just so that you can follow along in the text if you would like. Sorry, I didn't say that earlier. So this first section is all we're going to cover today of the preface. There's the 3 sections. This first section is How It Came. A Course in Miracles began with the sudden decision of 2 people to join in a common goal. Their names were Helen Schucman and William Thetford, professors of medical psychology at Columbia University's College of Physicians and Surgeons in New York City. It does not matter who they were. except that the story shows that with God all things are possible. They were anything but spiritual. Their relationship with each other was difficult and often strained, and they were concerned with personal and professional acceptance and status. In general, they had considerable investment in the values of the world. Their lives were hardly in accord with anything that the Course advocates. Helen, the one who received the material, describes herself, quote, psychologist, educator, conservative in theory and atheistic in belief, I was working in a prestigious and highly academic setting. And then something happened that triggered a chain of events I could never have predicted. The head of my department unexpectedly announced that he was tired of the angry and aggressive feelings our attitudes reflected, and concluded that there must be another way. As if on cue, I agreed to help him find it. Apparently, this course is the other way. Close quote. Although their intention was serious, they had great difficulty in starting out on their joint venture, but they had given the Holy Spirit the little willingness that, as the Course itself was to emphasize again and again, is sufficient to enable him to use any situation for his purposes and provide it with his power. To continue Helen's first-person account, quote, 3 startling months preceded the actual writing, during which time Bill suggested that I write down the highly symbolic dreams and descriptions of the strange images that were coming to me. Although I had grown more accustomed to the unexpected by that time, I was still very surprised when I wrote, quote, this is A Course in Miracles, close quote. That was my introduction to the voice, and voice is capitalized. It made no sound, but seemed to be giving me a kind of rapid inner dictation, which I took down in a shorthand notebook. The writing was never automatic. It could be interrupted at any time and later picked up again. It made me very uncomfortable, but it never seriously occurred to me to stop. It seemed to be a special assignment I had somehow, somewhere agreed to complete. It represented a truly collaborative venture between Bill and myself, and much of its significance, I am sure, lies in that. I would take down what the voice said and read it to him the next day, and he typed it from my dictation. I expect he had his special assignment too. Without his encouragement and support, I would never have been able to fulfill mine. The whole process took about 7 years. The text came first, then the workbook for students, and finally the manual for teachers. Only a few minor changes have been made. Chapter titles and subheadings have been inserted in the text, and some of the more personal references that occurred at the beginning have been omitted. Otherwise, the material is substantially unchanged. Close quote. The names of the collaborators in the recording of the course do not appear on the cover, because the course can and should stand on its own. It is not intended to become the basis for another cult. Its only purpose is to provide a way in which some people will be able to find their own internal teacher. That's the end of the first section of the preface. And I just want to go over that last line again. So, internal teacher is a proper noun in this case. Internal and teacher are both capitalized. Its only purpose is to provide a way in which some people will be able to find their own internal teacher. And I've been on a journey, a spiritual journey of my own, and I will put a link. I have another channel, another YouTube channel where I share how that started and just the experiences I've had along that journey. And being led to A Course in Miracles was one of those experiences. So I'll put a link to that video specifically in the description of this video. But I feel strongly, and from my experiences, I have found that connecting with that internal teacher, I really feel like that has been the purpose of this whole journey that I've been on. And I don't, in my opinion, and of course this is my opinion, you may disagree. In my opinion, connecting with that internal teacher is the most important thing, one of the most important things we can do in this life. Because I think if we don't have a connection to that internal teacher, it doesn't matter what leaders or mentors or teachers you have. If you don't have a connection with your own internal teacher, it's all for naught. No one outside of you knows what you are here to do or what you are here to learn, what you are here to accomplish, who you are here to help. And while I think there is great benefit, great value in having mentors, in having communities where we all learn from each other and we share our experiences, if you don't have your own internal teacher, that connection to your internal teacher, you can't discern what's right for you and what was just for them. You know, that worked for them and that was great for them, but that's not meant for you. And there are other things people will share that are meant for you and that will influence you and you are meant to act on. Without an internal teacher, you can't make that discernment. And I don't think it matters how inspired your mentors, your teachers, your leaders are. Not everything they say is going to be for you or is meant for you to act on. And so I just think that is one of the great beauties of this course, is that its only purpose, it's not trying to tell you how to live. It's not trying to tell you, oh, here's exactly what you should do all the time. It's trying to provide a way in which you will be able to find and really be able to hear your internal teacher. And if you want to call that internal teacher the Holy Spirit, it's the Holy Spirit. If you want to call it intuition or inner knowing, or, like there's so many words you could use to describe this internal teacher. So whichever one feels most resonant for you, then that's the one. I don't think, as we go through A Course in Miracles, if you stick with me through this or read it on your own, I think one of the great things that I learned through A Course in Miracles was how much I thought was coming from an internal teacher, but was really just the influence of other things that were not my internal teacher. And that has been one of the great things I have learned from A Course in Miracles, is how to discern what is actually that internal teacher and what is other influences that I can start to let go of now. So anyway, like I said, I hope you stay. I hope you continue with our study together. I hope that you put your insights in the comments. I hope you put your questions in the comments. I hope that this can be a discussion, something we do together. Somewhere else in A Course in Miracles, and I don't remember exactly where. I think it's towards the beginning, so I think we'll come across it pretty soon. But it says that no one is healed alone. And so if this is a place that you feel like you can come and experience some healing, we all heal better together. So we're so happy to have you here.